What's going on there, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm kind of a tool nut. In all of my videos, I got a lot of different tools. And I am a pretty brand loyal guy when it comes to especially battery stuff, which I'm sure most people are. You know, once you have a battery platform, it kind of makes sense to keep working off of that battery platform. If you got a bunch of Milwaukee stuff, why would you go out and get some Ryobi or go out and get some Cobalt or DeWalt or whatever. Once you have the battery platform, once you start buying tools, it makes sense to stick within that battery platform. And if you haven't noticed, I'm a DeWalt guy. I really like the black and yellow, and I have continued to diversify my tool collection, and I got a cool new one this week. So I won a raffle at work last week through our insurance, and I won a $200 Visa card. So I thought I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna treat myself to a new tool. So I decided to try out the DeWalt battery chainsaw. So I don't know if I ever really thought that I would have an unboxing video on my channel, but I guess today is gonna be the day. So I got this online through an online retailer through Amazon. It was $159. This is just the tool. There is no battery included. Like I was mentioning earlier about, once you're on a battery platform, it makes sense to stay on the battery platform. All of my other cordless tools are DeWalt's. So I have lots of batteries already. I didn't need to go ahead and invest in getting more of those because that's the expensive part. The tools aren't the expensive part, it's the batteries. The batteries are, the small ones are, $50. The bigger ones with the higher amp hours are like $100. So I did not need to go and get another battery. Ooh, pretty. Now, I can't speak for other brands, but I know with DeWalt, they have the three main batteries that they sell. There's the cheap one that comes with most of their tools. That's a 2 amp hour. There's a little upgrade with the same profile. This is a 3 amp hour. And then this is the 5 amp hour, which you can tell is twice the size. And the chainsaw, you are only supposed to use the 5 amp hour, and I believe that they sell an even bigger one, but you're only supposed to use the 5 amp hours and up. They make that 60-volt flex battery that works their 60-volt tools, but then it also works on their 20-volt tools. I'm sure that probably has more than 5 amp hours on it, but you have to use the bigger size batteries with the chainsaw. The little batteries, it says it can damage them if you use them with the chainsaw. So like all chainsaws, it does take some bar oil. It has a nice little sight window here to show you your bar oil level. That will be nice. Little hand crank. So this is not the tensioner. This is what holds the bar onto the saw. So that comes off. I'm sure this shroud comes off, and then you can take your bar off if you need to switch your chain out. And then it also has a separate knob for tensioning the chain. And then like all the chainsaws, it has the kick protector, it has the lock up here. Pretty slick, pretty straightforward. It's really light. I think it said it was 6.6 pounds. I mean, heavy enough that it feels sturdy, but light enough that it, I don't think there wouldn't really be arm fatigue. This does not look like a very big reservoir, so fill it slowly. As expected. What do you say we go take this bad boy for a spin, see what she can do? This is just some old dead honeysuckle, so this won't be too big of a test, but gotta start somewhere. Not bad. Well, you could cut through just about, that dead honeysuckle with just about anything. Probably a good butter knife would get you through that. So let's try something a little bit more realistic. This tree down here by my pond fell a couple of weeks ago, It still has tons of leaves and stuff on it, so it is still green, so it should be a lot tougher to cut. So let's see how something bigger diameter and still green, let's see how it handles it. Not bad. This is probably a bit bigger in diameter than what the instruction manual would tell you should cut with this, but let's give it a try. Now this isn't the hardest wood in the world. I'm not exactly sure what kind of tree this is, but it's not like it's an oak tree or a hard maple or something, but I'm really, I'm kind of impressed with the power. Granted, it's a brand spanking new blade, factory blade, so everything is, you know, optimal conditions right now. Good strong battery, brand new chain. But I'm pretty impressed so far. So I came up here to this area where I've been working on clearing out some brush. It's mostly honeysuckle. It's some dead locust trees and stuff that I've been working on getting cleared out. I set the timer on my phone and I tried to just keep cutting, not really worry about moving the brush around, just enough to get it out of the way. So the majority of the time I spent cutting, and it was about 13 minutes that I got off of that battery. Plus all the cuts that I made earlier. I probably made, I don't know, a dozen to 15 cuts before I came up here, mostly on like 2 to 4 inch stuff, but probably made 3 or 4 about 6 to 8 inch cuts. So I got these logs, and then this brush over here, this honeysuckle, all these larger pieces of honeysuckle down from out of in here. And the saw did not bog down once. I was kind of surprised. It did not one time get caught in the wood and stop the blade turning. And it seemed like I had full power all the way up until the battery died. It was just abrupt. The battery quit. It didn't seem like it slowed down at all as the battery was draining. So that was nice as well. So after about 30 minutes of use, what are my impressions? One of the first things that I noticed, I don't know how familiar most of you guys are with chainsaws, but usually on a chainsaw, these are made of metal and they're really aggressive spikes that come out. Therefore, you stick it into the wood and then it grips the wood so you can leverage to cut. And these are made of plastic. Now they got a pretty decent edge on them, and I mean, they felt like they were grabbing okay, but there definitely was a big difference between this and then, like I said, the aggressive metal spikes that I have on my gas-powered chainsaw. Another thing about this saw is this is a much thinner blade than what is on my regular chainsaws. The teeth are a little bit wider. I would tell you probably almost even, focus for me, almost even twice as wide than what's on here. There we go, focused. So I don't think that that really affected the cut at all, but it's just a much narrower channel that it's cutting into the wood. It's a lot less aggressive of a cut. It looks like one more thing you will need to keep an eye on. This was filled to the brim. This is the bar oil. You can see the line there. I used over half of it off of one battery. So you will need to make sure that you're putting bar and chain oil in it every time you use it. If you're not doing that, then you better pay attention, because chances are if I used another full battery, I would run out during the life of that second battery. Something that I won't know for quite a while, but I'm curious to see how it holds up. The handle where the trigger is, this is that rubberized material, like what they put on all of their drill handles to make it real grippy. But then out here on this handle, this is just a hard plastic. I don't know if you know, it's like one of those, like, what do they call it, like glass reinforced plastics that are super hard. But I'm curious to see how this rubber will hold up, because this will be very dirty. You know, you'll have all of the oil and, you know, potentially tree saps and that kind of stuff. It will be outside much more. I'm curious to see how it holds up. I haven't had any issues with the handles on the drills, so hopefully I won't have any issues with this. But I'm curious to see through hard use how this rubberized stuff will hold up, if it will become sticky, if it will wear off. It feels like it's decently thick. So that's something that I will have to keep an eye on. One last thing, this is, even though it is like a DeWalt branded bar that's on here, this is an Oregon bar and chain on this thing. So it is a name brand. So if you wanted to get a second chain, like I bought a second chain when I ordered this, because nothing's worse than going to go use your saw and it has a dull chain and you got to sit there and sharpen the chain. So I got a second one so I can swap them out. You know, I have multiple chains for my multiple saws, so then I kind of wait until I have a few dull ones and then sharpen them all at once. But like I said, this is an Oregon brand, so replacements would be very easy to find and very easy to get a hold of. Amazon carries them. I see them at the hardware stores. That is a big name brand when it comes to saws. Overall, I was quite impressed with this little thing. Now, going into buying this, I did not think that this was going to replace my gas-powered chainsaw. I didn't have that pie-in-the-sky dream. I got this more along the lines of thinking that it would be a good pruning saw. If you've ever used chainsaws before, you know you can't use a chainsaw without getting gross. Between that rich 2-cycle fuel that's going to leave you smelling like a gas can, and then all of the, you know, the bar oil and stuff, if you use a chainsaw, you pretty much have to take a shower afterwards. And with all the big trees and stuff that I have around here, especially around my house, you know, there's big branches falling all the time, and it's a pain in the butt to have to fire up the chainsaw just to use it for a couple of minutes to get the branch cleaned up. So this is really more for those kind of jobs, for pruning, for working on clearing brush out and that kind of stuff, something that's lightweight, that's going to be easy to reach with and cut and reach with, because my chainsaw, I have the big Farm Boss. It probably weighs over 20 pounds. It's got the big, like, I think it's a 28-inch bar on it. It's really heavy. It's tremendous for cutting big logs for firewood and stuff. So I didn't think that this was going to replace my gas-powered chainsaw. It definitely is not going to replace my gas-powered chainsaw. Like you saw, I got about probably 15 minutes of cut time out of the battery, and I don't think it would be worth going out and buying the even more expensive batteries, like those 60-volt flex batteries that I was talking about, going out and getting some of those just to work off of this. I think those are like 90 bucks a piece. So almost as much as the saw cost by itself. I don't think that would be worth it. So I know that was a bit of a departure from the sort of stuff that I usually do on my channel, but I'm kind of trying to, you know, try out a couple of different forms of content, you know. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you let me know about it if you'd like to see more of this kind of stuff. You know, usually I'm building stuff a little bit more vloggy. Like I said, I've never really done a review before, never done like an unboxing kind of like this was. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you let me know about it, and I'll try to get some more of that sort of content out there. If you're in the future watching this video and you want to know how the saw's holding up, ask me about it down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, think about hitting that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more farm content, and until next time, y'all, we'll see ya.